as we go through explore and preparation, we get into that third step of product innovation. Walk us through that, if you will. How does that work?
In this process, when you put the child in the customer's shoe, all of a sudden, all kind of magic start happening. The kid feel very empowered. And I'll tell you my experience. When you are designing a box, all of a sudden you say that, okay, now this is your company. Tell me how your logo need to look like. You are talking that thing to a 10, 12, 13-year-old child. So much power that child feels that, oh my God, I'm going to design this logo. I'm going to do this color theme. And one of our child has done a fantastic box. There are sensory toy for autistic kid. All this throughout the process, all of a sudden you see that 10, 12, 15-year-old child all of a sudden feels so much empowered that, okay, I am not 10-year-old. I really have the power to change the world. I can bring a lot of things in this society, right? All of a sudden the whole thought process changes.
Yeah, and just to add to that, right, that particular kid was invited for TEDx talk, and the topic of the talk was Generation Z making change a step in a way.
We go back to this product centric and how connected they are, and they're excited to learn because their hands are in it. I want to dig deeper. This notion of understanding the customer and empathy. How do you really teach that? Are they out there talking with potential users? Are the kids interviewing folks? How do you teach that empathy piece?
If you cannot touch and feel something, you cannot innovate. And hence what we did was we built a very strong mentor networkship. We brought in the industry expert for each and every aspect of it. With the help of the technology today, like Zoom, we are bringing a classroom experience into a virtual world. And what we did was we are bringing in those experts in a classroom setting where you get to know and learn and inspire from those stories. So for example, in case of Sanya Box, when we were building it, we brought on early on few people who understood the connectivity, they understood IoT, and they understood the chipboard design. In case of Fantastic Box, we provided an assurance and an environment so that these kids can go and talk to the end customer. Now, when you go through this kind of journey, the empathy becomes automatic. So that's one way of looking at it. In case of Sanya Box, the reason she could connect well is because now think of when a founder gets to know that her box is going to be supplying into underprivileged kids in the United States. It was like, wow, do we have people who cannot afford $125 box? And the answer is yes. People cannot afford, people don't have an internet at home. And that's the first steps towards knowing the real world at an early age. And that brings in empathy. If you talk to Sanya today, she would talk in a very different mindset compared to what she would have talked maybe 3 months back, because a Silicon Valley child living in a lavish home, seeing Tesla as, a default car, and kids would say, oh, you don't have a Tesla at home. And that's the kind of conversation they grew up, because those are like living standards. But once they get to know that, no, there are kids who cannot even afford 125, and, just for those 6 box of, collecting $6,000, we have to go so much of hoops. That's bring in the empathy. And I think that's what we are very, very proud of as we move along.
I certainly understand your pride in that. This is really interesting to